Welcome to the HawkCast with your host, AJ Hawk.
Big guy Jared Allen is with us right now. For the audio listeners, we have video finally after a couple episodes of strictly audio. Jared joins us from Arizona. Jared, welcome, man. Thanks.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So I think everybody knows who you are, obviously. They should. Football player. What, 14 years in the league?
12.
12?
Yeah. It felt like 100.
It feels like you've been around forever. So was that when you were with the Chiefs, was that when you guys filmed Hard Knocks?
Hard Knocks, yes. That was 2000 and what was that, 6, I think? Yeah, Herm's first year, 2006.
Oh, how was it playing for Herm?
No, I'm sorry, that was 2007, I think it was. I can't remember. Oh, Herm's the best. Herm's hands down one of the best coaches in the history of the world to play for.
I always wondered that because I see him out in Tahoe and got to play with him, and he's such a high-energy dude at all times. Was he like that day in and day out?
Day in and day out. But Herm, so we went, I went from Dick Vermeil, who, God bless Coach Vermeil. I mean, he knows what – sorry about that. Come out of frame. Hanging with my little girl here, too. But that's the screaming. I apologize. But no, so Coach Vermeil was, old school NFL. We're talking 3-hour, 2-a-days, full pads for a month and a half. And so to go from that for 2 years where like borderline death, training camp was borderline death. And it was just literally if you survived, you knew you had something special about you. To where we had Herm, where we went from an hour and a half practice. We were out of the building by 3:30, from regular season. We're Vermeil over there from like sun up to sundown. And it was just like, this is amazing. Her cool part of Herm, they're both Vermeil and Herm. I love both. They're amazing. And, but Herm was all about being a professional. And as was Vermeil. But, Herm's just like, you either got it or you don't. I'm not going to babysit you. I don't got time to babysit you. So either do your job or you won't be here. That's simple. It was awesome.
That's awesome. It's the true meaning of – I always say that. I wish more coaches would just trust you to be a pro and say, hey.
Professional football is the most unprofessional sport in the history of the world.
Why is that? Why do you think it is?
The truth is, there's a bunch of immature, guys that can't – so it's the one guy everybody has that guy on the team, right? There's the one or two guys that are going to screw it up for everybody. But instead of just – they still rely on this we have talent or potential thing. Where I guess we probably don't have as many numbers as maybe baseball and basketball do. My theory is if you just start axing dudes for stepping out of line, less dudes are going to step out of line. Hold on one second. Let me grab my daughter's baby for her.
No problem.
So I don't know if they would just I think it should be more cutthroat. You know what I mean?
Like the second that a guy steps out, you cut him and set the tone?
Well, so as Herm's saying was too, when your distraction outweighs your talent, you're gone. Right? So let's be honest. We all know there's a little more leeway for certain guys, right? But when your distraction outweighs your talent, you got to go. And too many times, dudes are bigger distractions than their talent will ever let them be. So if they just ask them. So I don't get it. I got buddies that play baseball and stuff like that, basketball, and they're talking about bringing golf clubs on the road. And, they're out here at training camp, and it's like, yeah, I got my own apartment. We show, you're expected to be there. If you're not, you won't be there. To where I don't know what it is about the NFL, or football in general. Think about it. It was that way through high school, college.
It really is.
They baby people, and it's just the way it is.
Maybe that's why the NFL has to be baby guys there because they're so used to being the star and being the stud that's been catered to forever, I guess. So where coaches get a head coaching job, usually I felt like, and they want to hold on so tight. I got to do everything possible. I don't want to lose this gig. So I'm going to sit there and I'm going to stick my security guy outside his door every road game and make sure he doesn't leave.
As an adult, if the team has to provide me a security guard because I cannot adult or police myself, like we have issues. Like I get it. There's, I love to have fun back in my young days, and I know there's a lot of guys that like to take it to the next level and go out and have fun. But again, at some point, your distraction outweighs. You're a professional. Like if you want to be a partier, go be a partier, right? If you want to play like Manziel, pick or choose. You're either a socialite or a football player. Which one do you want to be, pal? And you can't really be them both,
Is he a
So,
socialite now? Is that his title, you
oh,
think?
I don't know. You sure as heck can't be an NFL player, right?
Bro, he doesn't care about anything. It seems like from the outside
And the only
looking
reason I
in.
know about this is because it comes up on my Fox News feed. I have zero clue what's going on in sports. By the way, I have been so detached from sports. It's awesome.
Were you like that when you were still currently on a roster?
Yeah, I used to come home and it's like decompress. I used to check my ESPN stuff like just to make sure no one on our team was acting like an idiot or see what trades or anything like that. Just to kind of get information for the team. But yeah, I was always a guy that liked to decompress, get away from it. I mean, we're around each other so much that when you want to come home, you just want to be home and not deal with it. Like I was the guy coaches knew, like, don't call me or text me unless something really bad is happening.
Yeah, like I'm not answering. That's for sure.
Yeah, delete.
The Green Bay area code was 920, and so people would always say, "Hey, you get that 920 area code? I mean, well, you know not to answer."
Although I feel like I would answer McCarthy's call. I love McCarthy.
Well, McCarthy, yeah, but the head coach wouldn't call him too many. You're in big time trouble if the head coach is calling you.
Oh, Coach Frazier, who I love him to death. He used to call me all the time, and he knew. So he came to my wedding, right? So I was to give him a hard time, and he used to always have the opening day of OTAs like on my wedding anniversary, right around that. And I'm like, he's like, "You gonna be at OTAs?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, I don't know how many times I got to tell you. He's like, "Why not? I'm not gonna be the start of OTAs. Why?" I was like, "It's my wedding anniversary. Aim and we're gonna go do this or this." And he's like, "Well, I mean, so you're just telling me the whole time you're here, you're not going to come to the start of OTA?" So I told him one day, I said, "You're telling me the whole time that you're the head coach, you're going to plan OTAs around my wedding day?" So we got to pick and choose, coach.
Do you know how many head coaches did you play for?
So two at each spot. Oh, 7. Goodness. So I had 2 in KC, 2 in Minnesota, 2 in Chicago, and then Rivera.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of a whirlwind there at the end.
So you went from the Dick Vermeil old school 3-hour kill each other practice to the hour-and-a-half Herm Edwards. Did you ever flip that and go from the shorter practice to the longer bang your head off each other?
No, so I went to Minnesota. We had Childress as a coach, and Chili was awesome. That was the first thing I told him when he picked me up on a plane in San Francisco, and I said, "Hey, coach, I'm laying it out there. I've been with Herm for the last 2 years, and I am not going backwards." And so I even told him too. I said, "Hey, you put it in the contract, don't put it in the contract, but I got about 2 or 3 years of training camp left in me, and then it's very, very much maintenance based." And so after about those 2 3 years, I went to Brad and I brought my RV to camp one year, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I told you, I'm on one a days. I'm chilling. I'm not. You got it. If I got to take this to the higher ups, I'm taking it up top because this is what we talked about." Brad was awesome. Talk about there's another player. I've been blessed. Honestly, I've had phenomenal head coaches. So Brad was so cool because he went through the transition of beating those guys' brains out when I was in KC. He had just taken over Minnesota, and then when we got there, he had his guys and he had a squad. So Brad's the guy that you might be out like, "Oh, this sucks. Just we've had back-to-back padded practice. We might do a goal line live scrimmage," and then he'd just be like, "All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Just give you the whole night off, or call it up and you're out." Or the best thing he used to do is 30 years old plus and selected vets. We didn't have to do anything.
Oh, that's such a big deal that people don't realize, I think, outside of football. Just the one I still remember one time in my whole career, and in Green Bay we were at OTAs, and our special teams coach blew the whistle, and he brought us all up and he said, "Hey, I'm looking at my stopwatch, and after 10 seconds, if any of you are left on this field, you guys are gonna practice. The rest of you get out of here." And it was the fastest anybody ran. Guys had to be pulling hammies sprinting to their cars.
Dude, that does so much for you, your mental lift, and vice versa. We went from Brad and then Frazier took over. Him and Singletary kind of went back to that, just we were pounding every day. And the league obviously took it out. We were one a days. And so every coach thought they had to be in full pads because we were only there one a day, Mm-hmm. And it's something about, you got to understand your players. Like Vermeil, as tough as those camps were, he would do that. He'd call you up and be like, "All right, I don't want to see you for 36 hours. Or he knew when to give you a hug and be like, "I love you." And you're like, "Yeah," you just meathead out for him even more. Let's do it.
Let's go do Bull in the Ring now.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's a huge deal that like you said, I don't think people understand is that, football, we're giving a little bit of ourselves out there, right? We obviously know the risk and the inherent risk and the dangers. So you want to believe in the guy you're playing for. And if I'm going to go out and bang my head through walls, like, I got to know you have my back and you're going to take care of me and have my best interest at heart.
So true, man. And tiny little things like that just can carry you for a year or two. Like I'm speaking 4 years later, and I remember the feeling when we all sprinted off that field. Just at OTAs, like in May.
Yeah, nothing better. Oh, and that's KC used to love because we used to get golf credit. We like our big sponsors would have golf tournaments.
Yeah, and
we used to call it golf season because if you signed up and you got lucky to get picked on that list that the sponsors wanted you to play on, you got credit for OTAs that day. You get credit for a workout. It's like the whole team would be at a golf tournament. That's correct.
That's a way to get guys to go because they would always have sign up sheets for golf events they'd want you to go to in Green Bay a lot, and it's cool. But a lot of times it'd be during your off time, and guys don't want to drive 2 hours to a golf event during their off day. If you did it if you got credit, man, oh my God, you have the whole team sign up.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the coaches would be there, Vermeil would be there. There was time, and when he had his golf tournament, that was like literally like a 2-day OTA out at the country club.
That is beautiful, man. That's how it should. That's how they all should be. It's changing. I mean, that's so funny how the little things like that. Vermeil, I've been around Vermeil a little bit at the broadcast boot camp.
Yeah,
because Vermeil was I don't know if he's still doing TV or not, but he used to call games, and they showed us like the big cards he'd make.
Oh,
and like the dude would be so old school, handwritten like things that took 48 hours to make.
Dude, he's as old school. He's literally as old school as they come. And typing in Mother Goose Club right now for my youngster.
Trust me, my daughter stepped in here before. She's actually on an iPad right now.
Oh yeah,
right
dude,
off camera. How did
our parents like survive without? I mean, there's so many educational apps and. It's like, go run. I get go run and play, and the kids will play outside, but then they get exhausted, and it's just like, hey, learn to spell.
Oh, it's true. I'm sure. How old are your kids?
1 and 4, almost 2 and 4.
Okay, yeah. My 5-year-old daughter, she knows the code. We have a 3-car garage. She knows the code. Yep. Each one has a different code, and she knows them all.
Yep.
And I'm like, how'd you know? She's like, well, I watched you do it, Dad. I'm like, oh my God.
It's ridiculous, right? You're just like, that's not okay. My daughters can work my oldest can work an iPhone, iPad better than I. She's like, don't worry, Dad, I know your code. Like, dude. I'm like, all right. Here's the keys to the car. Here's the keys to the safe.
It's good, man. Girls take care of their dads. That's for sure.
100%. I won't be in a nursing home.
How do you feel physically?
Good and bad. I think it's for the most part, I came out pretty unscathed. Honestly, my feet hurt so bad now. And I had
was that through your whole career?
No, it's just started happening. I don't even know if it has anything to do with football. But if Willis's feet hurt or doubled as much as my feet hurt now, I understand why he retired. I totally get it, dude.
I guess, yeah.
All of a sudden, I got plantar fasciitis. I'm like, where the heck did this come from? It was ridiculous. So, but no, I feel all right. Typical, things that you bang up. Stay banged up. I do the executive workouts now, so it's like 3 mile walk on the treadmill and then hit a steam and solid.
Go hit brunch up and go home.
Oh, dude, I'm a luncher. That's what they got a lunch meeting. Let's arrange a lunch meeting. Come on, get the kids. Let's go.
Oh, I love it, man. That's cool. So you're living in Arizona. You're from California originally, right?
Yeah, so I was born in Texas, but grew up in California, grew up in Northern California. I've been out in Arizona for, goodness, going on 12, 13 years now. So
now explain your sack celebration to people that may not know what you were doing.
Yes. So I grew up on a horse ranch, right? So my dad trained reining cut horses, and I grew up doing a little bit of calf roping and stuff like that. So Neil Smith is responsible for getting me to start doing it. So I used to just go out and be a goofball, and the guys on the Chiefs would just make me do something different every time, right? It's like my rookie year, me and my buddy used to always joke in college, like, bodybuilders slap their thigh and they shake it out, right? So I did that in the preseason after I sacked Eli, and I got fined $5,000 for sexually suggestive behavior. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So then the guys on the D-line used to just give me stuff, and then Neil Smith came to the game one day, and he's like, you got to get something that is, it represents you. I guess he always loved baseball or whatever, right? So I was all right. So I started thinking about it. I was like, man, I grew up calf rope and all this stuff. So I did it, and being in Kansas City, it stuck, and everybody loved it. And I just kept doing it, and that's what it is. So when you're calf roping, right? You get the calf, you got to run down the rope, you throw them on the ground, you tie three of the legs together, and when you put your hands up, they stop the clock. And so that's kind of my deal. It's just tying up quarterbacks. Put the hands up, stop the clock on them.
So you only tie up 3 of the 4 legs, though?
Yeah.
Why not all 4? Can they not get them all together?
Listen, it's probably a little harder to get all 4 of them. Usually, you put the picket string on one on the one of the front legs. So if you're throwing them down this way, it'd be his top front leg. So if I'm throwing this way, it'd be his top right leg. Scoop his back legs up. 1, 2. Try to get 3 loops and pull, but then they have to stay tied for 6 seconds.
Oh, okay. See, that's all news to me, man.
Count. Yeah.
I didn't know. I obviously knew I knew the celebration. I saw it firsthand from the sidelines about 7,000 times when I was in Green Bay. Some of those times, didn't you have 4.5 sacks against us multiple times?
Yes. Yeah. Well, 4.5 again on Monday Night Football, and then I went up there and I had 3. Yeah, I played well. I love playing against Green Bay. I know what it is. It's just Lambeau Field. There's something great about playing at Lambeau. Minus like Arrowhead. Arrowhead's probably the ambiance, and it's because of the smell. So unless you get a chance to ever play there as a home team, you won't really get why it's probably the coolest stadium. Because when you drive in, you put the windows down, and it can be 30 below, and all you smell is barbecue and charcoal, and there's like people playing Chiefs themes, so you just know it's game day, right? It's like the coolest thing ever. But Lambeau, man, there's just so much history there. It's always an away game that I always look forward to. I love playing in Lambeau. It was a good time.
Yeah, Lambeau has that same thing with brats in the parking lot. That's a thing.
Oh, dude,
McCarthy talks about that like in pregame, the night before, and he'd always talk about there's nothing better than pulling in on a noon game and smelling the brats.
It's the best. Yeah. Like, honestly, just imagine. I think that's maybe what I'm going to do now. Maybe I'll go make a tour. I don't need to be a team of fan. I just need to go check out some of the cool tailgating from around the league. Like, what spot did you ever pull in and you look out the bus and you just kind of like, they look like they're having way more fun than I'm about to.
Oh, God, man. I remember that happened in college so many times for me, actually. We'd pull up to these, like Wisconsin. Oh, my goodness. You go Madison, that is an absolute party. I've said on here, I think before, I had a buddy that went there, and my dad would go like Thursday for a Saturday game, and he'd go hang out with him on Friday night before the game.
That's how it was. Like, obviously, I didn't have the big schools go. We used to go to the University of Montana, and they were just like lined up. But yeah, sometimes you look up in the stands, you're like, or you pull up on their tailgate, you're like, man, these people are loving it. Yeah. That was the problem when I knew we had our suite in Minnesota, and it was like literally 30-yard line right behind the bench, and their suites in the old stadium, the dome, were kind of low, right? So you're right at the top of the field level. Mm-hmm. So I could literally see my wife and all my friends. I look back, I could hear them if they were screaming. I look back and they're all drinking Bud Lights, eating pizza, just like, ice cream sandwiches. The kids got sundaes all over. I'm just like, what? Like, we're up by 30. Coach, I gotta.
Your buddies are bonging beers, and you're going, how'd they sneak that into there? What's happening, man?
And then they would always stay there. You know how it is. Luckily, you can get out of there if you're lucky. If you're changed, done, few interviews, you can get out maybe 45 minutes to an hour after the game, right? Mm-hmm. And sure enough, by the time I'd always get out thinking like, oh, they're going to have some chicken wings left over, there's going to be some pizza. They're all like, we're at the car. Like, ah.
Yeah, they all get to have the fun. And then if you the funniest thing is every once in a while, like when you have a lot of people at a game, in the game, say you try to explain a few plays, like, oh, how about that third down, man, when I sack strip fumble. You're trying to explain to your friends, and like, oh, I missed it. What happened? Like,
so what was that? Oh, you played?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could tell me. Yeah, I had 4.5 sacks. I don't know if you saw it, guys. It's kind of a big deal.
Like, by the way, I'm deducting that ticket out of your next whatever.
Yeah, and I know you had 7 slices of pizza, buddy, and it's not cheap up in these boxes.
And again, what's with the stadiums are like airports. They're the laws of normalcy as far as pricing cease to exist. Oh, you like a 6-pack of beer and water and soda? That'll be $3,000. Like, goodness.
You're right. It's like it is, man. It's a different world, and a draft beer's $18. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Amy would just come. She was like, you'd always get you get the pre-order slips, right? So she would just like, wait, this is me getting a discount? This is ridiculous. So I'm like, dude, just make it like the movie theater. Start stuffing popcorn bags down your pants.
We used to sneak Chipotle burritos in college in our pockets.
Yes, there you go.
That's what you need.
Nothing in here. Hands warming. Hands warm.
Yeah, for real. Wow. So, but when you went from Kansas City to Minnesota, were you a free agent or did you get traded? How'd that work?
So I was actually a restricted free agent. Kansas City franchised me. I refused to sign the franchise, and then we worked a sign and trade with Minnesota. So kind of free agency. I was allowed to talk to Minnesota and Tampa, the two teams that the Chiefs had given me permission to talk to, and so we're able to get the deal done up in Minnesota, and that was pretty cool deal.
Well, weren't you one of the guys that was involved in like the recruitment of Brett Favre?
Yes. I used that to get out of training camp for a few days.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Did you guys fly private down to Mississippi?
Yep, took his plane. We took Ziggy's plane down. Brad called us. He's like, "Hey, we got to get him to come." So he's like, "I'm gonna put you, Hutch, and Longwell on a plane." And I'm like, "Sounds good to me."
And you got out of training camp for that?
Oh yeah, we missed like 2 practices.
Oh, guys were probably so jealous of you guys.
Oh. And then we went 6-10 that year, so it was like really. But yeah, it was honestly that was great. I'm like, we should make this. I'm like, Brett, say no. I'm like, say no, stay retired. I actually did. I was the one guy that told him to stay retired.
So he was legit waffling, and then so you guys literally just went to his house and
talked
to him?
Yeah, like Longwell and Hutch had been talking to him, and I'd given him the great nickname of the Silver Fox the previous year, and so Brad was just like knew that this was our obviously Brad at the helm, you have a lot better chance of making it to the Super Bowl, right? So he asked, he's like, "You guys cool to go down there and try to talk to him?" Brad, they're like, "Don't come back without him," basically. So we went down there, and Hutch and Longwell put the pressure on him. I was like, "Listen, dude, it looks like you got it pretty good down here because this place is amazing." And I'm like, "I'll be real honest with you. If I'm you, I stay retired." But I'm like, "Don't come back if you think you got to prove something." I'm like, if you want to come back and have fun with us and try to win some football games, do it. If not, I might retire and move down here. To your place.
He wouldn't even know you were there.
No, I just stay out in the tree fort.
So that year he came back, went 6-10, and then the next year was when you guys lost in the NFC Championship game. Is that right?
No. That was 2009 when we lost the NFC Championship game, and then 2010 we went down and brought him back because he retired.
Oh, see, I got the whole time frame mixed up. All right.
Yeah, well, he retired. He retired after the Chiefs or after the Jets too, and then Brad and them got him to come in. Do you want to talk about like a rock star showing up? Mm-hmm. Literally everybody. Sorry for the extreme close up there. Oh, my phone died, baby. Hold on one second. I'm grab an iPad.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Hit pause.
No problem, man. Yeah, we'll edit that part out.
Oh, that's good too. Oh, sweet.
22, 35, Todd.
This ought to get interesting. Come here. No more technology.
Oh.
Everything is dead. But no, so he comes in like helicopters following him on the tarmac, craziness. And when he pulled up, because we could all see it on the TV, when he was pulling up the thing, not just the entire team, the entire organization had our faces pinned up against the cafeteria window to get a peek because we couldn't believe that Brett Favre was really walking through the door. And we all, from me, Antoine, to Kevin and Pat, I don't care what they say, everybody's face was like this, like, he's here. The Savior is here.
Who were the other quarterbacks on the roster at the time?
We had Gus Frerotte the year before that and Shavaris Jackson. And then so they had Sage Rosenfeld and Shavaris Jackson fighting out for the job, and then Brett came in and everybody got pissed off like, well, how come we don't get a shot? He's because your name is not Brett Favre. That's why you're not the starter.
Yeah, I can see being frustrated, like, oh man, he did come back, but you can't actually think that you get to compete for the gig with Brett Favre when they fly the owner's jet down to check him out, and like, come on.
Yeah, when a helicopter doesn't follow you to practice every day, you don't get to talk. No more speaking.
Oh man, that's one of the. So I played 2 years with Brett, and that's one of the things people still ask me, like, what kind of teammate was he? Like, what do you remember him as a teammate with you?
So he was awesome. So I the first time I saw him throw a backside slant looking the other way, I knew he was legit, right?
Yep.
And then he came in first day. By the way, this is my youngest daughter.
Hello.
Came in, He came in day one, changed our snap count and our cadence, right? Just no, we're gonna do it this way,
Yes.
to the move, no touching, and and then he comes in, but he'd be at the facility at 10 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? And really blowing this for you. Sorry, bud. 10 o'clock at night, he'd be at the facility just going over stuff because he couldn't go anywhere, Mm-hmm. So I do his work ethic was like insane with us. But he had a relationship with literally with everybody from, the coaches down to the most random dude. That he would just give the most ridiculously hard butt slaps that I still think I have a handprint on my backside from him. But I just honestly, I expected it to be almost deservingly so, a little more like elitist. Wasn't like it at all. He was super chill.
That's good to hear, man. I think people are surprised by that. That's the exact same thing in Green Bay. Like, just one of the guys. Like, he really was, even though he's
absolutely, yeah. I mean, here's the guy. He is the guy that like A-list celebrities want to hang out. He's that athlete,
He's like still that guy doing the Tommy Copper commercials.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he must own the Shave Club because I can't imagine that this little this Shave Club commercials have that much money to give him.
Oh well, he's got to have some equity in both. Even Tommy Copper, the elbow things.
Yeah,
he's wearing.
Tommy Copper went from like a random rodeo cowboy that some Saddlebrock rider no one's ever heard of, and then Brett Favre. Like, where did that?
And the commercials run all the time. You're like, oh, I feel great throwing. He has a little elbow sleeve.
With the high school kids.
They sell them at Walgreens. I think I bought one at Walgreens once.
Awesome. I need Tommy Copper now.
You definitely should be in one of the commercials.
Get a full Tommy Copper suit.
Bro, hopefully Brett somehow gets wind and watches this, and you in one of his commercials where he's like dropping back in his backyard throwing a ball, you're like rushing the passer.
Yeah, against the high school student that he's throwing the ball to.
How sweet would that be?
By the way, question for you: Do you think that dude's going to be back at the tournament this year?
Oh, the guy that I tackled?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he'll be back.
Are you going to give him the business again?
Bro, it's been 2 years running now.
I know.
The dude put on a solid 35 pounds of muscle between year 1 and 2. So I'm scared to see what he looks like now.
He's all sauced up.
He had a torn bicep last year too. In the video, right before it, he had this big like JJ Watt elbow brace, and I was like, oh, I tore my bicep. I was like, oh, we don't have to do it then, man. He's like, oh, are you kidding me? And he just unstrapped it, took it off.
I just don't understand why he wants to get cold cocked in the chest
and have his head smack the ground too. That was the scary part for me last year.
Yeah, maybe have him sign a waiver. You should bring a separate waiver. Have your attorney write up a waiver.
Bro, for real, NBC's cameras went to him on. I don't know if it holds up in court, but are you okay with this? Are you sure you're okay with this? He's like, yes, I'm fine. I'm hoping.
That beats the lady that, last year I ended up throwing my back out, right hole 12, right? It was like, Oh. So, the little par 3 where they sit right on the edge of that bunker?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So if I hit the trees, it falls straight down, right? I mean, in all reality, the people weren't there. It's a little chip over the bunker, and you're sitting on the green, right?
Yeah.
Lady gets up there, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. She's like, you hit me in my ear. I'm like, well, technically, I didn't hit you. Like, you're sitting underneath the tree. A ball rattled around and fell. So you're not that, let it go. Would not let it go.
What does she want you to do?
I'm like, listen, I'm only going to say sorry for so many times. And then it's just, you're playing at your own risk here.
Do you play much golf?
I hadn't been able to in the past, with working out and then kids and stuff. Now I've been out quite a few times this year, by quite a few, more than I have been the last probably 3 or 4 years combined. But I love golf. I do try to play quite a bit.
Nice. I'll probably be putting this up right as we're getting to Tahoe. We're going there. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be cool. It's cool.
Okay.
Great tournament. Obviously, we love it there. But man, I don't want to mess you up with your daughter, man. Is she all right?
Oh, she's fine. She's just tearing my wallet apart.
See, this is one thing that people think. I'm guilty of this too. When I see movie stars or actors, I just assume they all have somebody that does everything for them.
Yeah.
This is a perfect example. Look at you, stud in the NFL, 22 sacks in a season, 136 career, by the way. I know that one, and I think I probably witnessed 95 of them. in person. But you're sitting here and you're taking care of your daughter. Like, is that something? Do you ever get that what's like the biggest misconception you think that people have about you?
Oh, I don't know. I'm pretty straightforward.
You're an open book, definitely. It seems like.
Yeah, I don't try to hide much, and but I think just in general, yeah, I think the general public thinks like athletes, and I mean, like I said, we're probably guilty of thinking celeb, because I don't think we're celebs whatsoever. I think maybe we're athletes, but they think, yeah, these guys highly paid, don't work. I think the biggest misconception is people don't realize the amount of work we put in for our craft, for that 3 hours. Like, when I tell people, our work schedule through the week, they're like, you're there like 8. I'm like, it's an 8-hour day, 6 days a week, Yeah. And then training camp, you don't see your family for 3 weeks. You get to see them one day a week, and then you got to be back, and they move you away. And so then the off season, there's no off season anymore. I mean, if you come to training camp out of shape, it's ridiculous. So I think but I mean, there are people that choose to have full-time staff, this, that, and the other. My wife and I, we like to raise our kids. Everybody needs a babysitter for date night for sure. But yeah, we try to be as normal as possible. I was actually on my way to Costco when with my wife, my other daughter, when I remembered I had this in an hour. So me and the little one stayed home.
Oh, I got you. Well, yeah, I appreciate your wife helping letting you come on here too. Or I know it's tough man scheduling. Trying to get you on. I told my wife, I was like, "No, I'm talking because we're leaving in a couple of days for a wedding." I was like, "No, I got Jared Allen Wednesday night." She's like, "Oh, I can't wait. They're coming to Tahoe." Of course. So
yeah, I know. I think Amy was already. They were talking already because yeah. And Amy even asked me. She's like, "It was so funny when you asked me to do the show." Amy was like, "Are the Hawks coming to Tahoe again?" I'm like, "I got to assume." So I was like, "Let's find out."
I'm squeaking out invites every year, man.
Yeah. You keep hammering dudes in the chest. You keep getting in.
As long as American Century and NBC wants to let me sneak onto that list, I will do whatever they want. Trust me. I tell Aaron that all the time because Aaron obviously has a lifetime pass to Tahoe.
Yes.
And he's like, "What are you doing? I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, this is fun. I want to be around this is a cool event." And he's like, "Oh, you're such like he'll like joke like you're a shill for the man or whatever." I was like, "Hey, Rod, I am an absolute. I'm do whatever these guys want. I'm a little dancing little machine for them."
Yeah. He's saying, yeah. He keeps showing up every year.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm like, I understand that you're Brad Pitt in your own mind, but it's all right. I don't mind putting in a little work to be here.
What's up? You got any insides for? Please tell me you guys are just murdering Aaron for his brother being on The Bachelor.
Oh my goodness, Jordan. See, that's a weird subject too. Because have you been watching?
Unfortunately, yes.
I've watched. Obviously, I want to watch because of Jordan. I know Jordan.
My wife's a fan, so
yeah. Don't you think Jordan's the most normal guy on there?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, I can't see. I don't have that kind of hair. Yeah. So I don't understand these skinny everything, like skinny, like slouchy, skinny sweats and skinny shorts. Like these dudes they look like they're wearing, like, honestly, they look like they're wearing girls' leggings. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it whatsoever. Like, so, like, whatever happened to just wearing man clothes that aren't painted on? And I'm not saying everybody has to be a hillbilly or a cowboy, but I mean, I think it's definitely okay not to wear spray painted jeans, like on jeans and body paint,
Yeah, I mean, where are they at right now? How many guys are left?
I haven't seen the last couple ones.
I was watching pretty consistent, especially just to see how Jordan did. And then when they booted off the old juiced up crazy guy, I kind of faded.
Who I kind of loved.
Of course, how do you not?
He might have been a little over the top, but he was kind of right.
I think his name's Chad. I'm pretty sure. And that's all you got to say is whoever the steroid guy was, I love him.
Yes, guys, that was phenomenal.
They accused him of when they asked him if he was taking steroids, like, first off, like, I can't bring him here, and if I did, how would I even do them here?
So yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What? You want a phone here? Baby and wallet? Key is distraction.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. But yeah, dude, I've been and what's Aaron saying about it? You gotta
not
have
much, man. Not a whole lot. I know when before they actually aired the first episode, I was out in LA doing something with him, and he and Olivia were like, "Oh, do you hear Jordan's on The Bachelor?" Yeah, it's The Bachelor, right? Not The Bachelorette. Or this The Bachelorette?
Bachelorette. Something. Yeah, Bachelorette.
Whatever. Either way. And I'm like, yeah, I heard. I was like, I think he's gonna do well because look at Jordan. He's like a big, handsome dude. He's all ripped up. He's an athlete. He knows how to charm these ladies. Like, yeah, he's good.
All right, it's gonna do good.
We'll see, man. I don't know.
Yeah, then there's all those he's doing it for fame, but I mean, at some point, I mean, if your brother's famous and dating an actress, you could probably just ask him to hook you up with a job.
Yeah, and exactly, and how they like, and I don't know if you know, Jordan got hired recently by SEC Network.
No, I didn't know that.
So he has like a sports gig now, and people are saying, "Well, that's what he was. He went on the show for that." I was like, "Yeah, idiot. Why else would he go on the show?" Like, what do we dynamite insight there?
To fall in love. I mean, right? To fall in love. I still believe in love.
Oh yeah. So all those guys.
I just love how like in 6 weeks these people fall in love, and they're like on private plays, and this is why they don't ever work out, because when reality sets in, they're flying coach on Southwest. Like that's not as hot. That's not as sexy.
No.
And Barbados comes once every year because you have to save up your vacation time. Not as sexy.
And you don't have a private butler in your room with a glass bottom shack you're staying on.
Like, oh, and then when dude can't work out 24, because he's bored, he can't work out 7 hours a day for 6 weeks, so he's not jacked anymore. You get a little dad bod all of a sudden,
Oh, and they don't have catering. Every single meal is catered buffets for him. You're right.
By the way, does it ever make you mad, since I know you watch the show now, that nobody eats the food?
Why is that?
I don't know, but it makes me mad. Like,
are they scared of like eating on camera, or what is it?
Because there's some delicious looking meals on that show, and I am pissed when they don't eat them.
Oh, I'm with you, man. You know who so Chris Harrison is the host. A couple years ago, I was Sunday night in Tahoe walking in Harrah's Casino, and he was walking through the casino.
Nice.
And my brother and I trailed him for a little bit.
That's creepily stalkerish.
Yeah, because my brother really followed the show back in the day, especially, and he's like, "Oh, what's Chris Harrison doing here?" And he's like everybody. He's a tiny little man. He looks like, and I'm like, I don't know. And so we kind of trailed him from a distance for a little bit to see what was happening. I don't know why he was in town, but yeah. If I see him, I'll give you the heads up this year.
Oh, I'm going to trail him. Why? AJ did it. I don't know. I got to do it.
What's he doing here? I got to see.
Hey, what are you doing here, bro? Why are you acting all weird? Hey, no one's falling in love around here, bro. Get out of here.
I don't think you could hide like I could. Not some giant.
Are you following me? No. No, where are you going?
You're the only 6'6" giant in this casino, Jared. Get out of here.
That sucks. That's where being an average size human is always a good call.
Just to be comfortable. I always wonder how you guys fly like on a plane, and then you're right, wherever you walk into, you're gonna stick out because you sometimes you have a sweet mullet, and sometimes you shave racing stripe. Do you have one right now?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. What is this for? Anything or just to be awesome?
I've just always generally liked it, and so I cut it when I got married and just for wedding photo pictures, and then I went bald really fast, so it came and gone a couple of times. I just grew it out this last year for fun. My wife said, "You should rock it again." So I was like, done. I was just stuck. And it looks better. You know what? Because if you're losing it here, distract with it back here. Like distract beautiful lars.
You're the sweet curls out back, man. You have the perfect mullet that people dream of, I think.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's nice. And the greatest part is when I go to I'll go down to the barber shop. My daughter's talking on the phone, just saying hello. No big deal. I mean, if you guys on the podcast would say hello back, maybe she'd stop saying hello. Quit being rude, people. So I go down to the bar, and then I'm like, yeah, just, keep it the same shape, just shorten it up, keep the sides short, don't mess with the back too much. They started looking at me, I'm like, yeah, I know it's a mullet. Like, oh, we didn't want to say the M word. I'm like, the M? Like, what is the M?
Are you kidding?
I'm like, trust me, I rock the mullet. You can call it a mullet. We're good.
You had it back in the day, though, before it became like a fad. There was a little bit of
started in 2007, yeah.
Yeah, so there was a thing where it almost got played out for a while, I feel like. But you had it before that.
I had it to start with, and everybody started having long hair. Clay grew his hair out, right? So then there was me with the mullet. Clay had the long hair. And then it seemed like everybody, well, Polamalu, right? Let's give Polamalu the long hair first.
Yeah.
He didn't have a mullet though. But then Clay grew it out. Then it was like that was a trend. And then like B-Rob on our team grew it out. Then everybody, it was just everybody had long hair. I was more happy when I saw the high school kids like around Minnesota rocking the mullet with the racing stripes. And it was just like hockey hair USA. It was phenomenal.
Well, yeah, big hockey. You were their absolute hero when you had the sweet mullet and the racing stripes.
Oh yeah, the racing stripes. That actually came about. So I bet my financial guy that he played for ASU back in the 80s, and his mullet was legit. And so we bet each other who could have the best mullet by tax day, right? So I grew it all year and just ended up sticking with me. He ended up cutting it, but then Dustin Colquitt came up with the idea of putting the racing stripes in. Our punter from Kansas City. He's like, dude, let's class it up, and that's how it came about.
Good for you, man, for rolling with it. I love it.
I think the mullet got more attention at times than the other. By the way, I'm really just making the producers proud when they said quiet area, like not a lot of people.
So you read the email.
I got a dog barking. I got kids yelling. My oldest just came home. Push the door open, honey. Push hard. Just push. That's pulling. There you go.
See, this is a good thing though. I don't edit any of this out. It's all my own deal. This isn't tied to a network, so
it's perfect.
That's why I love it. People want to know. It's organic, man. People want to know how you really live.
Absolutely.
Like, sit here and ask you that. Like, I can sit here and ask you the normal. So, what's the biggest difference between a 4-3 and a 3-4 defense, Jared?
I'd be like, you need to ask Coach Marvin Lewis. So, me and Coach Lewis, same college.
Really?
Both Idaho State Bengals.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Hey, go make sure your sister gets the mommy okay.
He's playing Tahoe this year.
Is he? Mm-hmm. Good. I get to spend some off-the-field time with him and tell him he needs to crank up his donations to the university because I'm tired of carrying them. I have a locker room named after me, a gym named after me, practice field. Like, come on, Coach. You're in the Hall of Fame up there, too. Let's get it going.
Oh, please get out good after him on that one. That is, but so I remember when you made the transition to Chicago from Minnesota. You really did. That's like a legit question I have. You went from a 4-3 DN and you moved to outside backer in a 3-4. Like, how was that, man?
Different because I actually really enjoyed it. It was a fun position to play, but for me, it was like when I got into it and started doing it. I'm a tall guy, so it's not like I'm squatty and I'm just built in levers like James Harrison, right? So for me, I'm used to hitting on the rise, locking guys out. So it took me a little bit to get my feet right from that standpoint. And then my pass rush, if my inside foot was up, my steps were completely different. So it really once I got a hang of it, it was okay. I mean, the drops and the coverage schemes, that was where you got a whole new respect for linebackers and the crap that they got to learn because, you're depending on your coverage, the formation, your run, your drop reads are all different and it can change in a heartbeat. But basically, it's like my steps were backwards, right? So it'd be like me lining up in a right-hand stance versus a left-hand stance, so instead of like I knew where I had to be like on my third step, but I'd either have to do it on my second step was too soon or my fourth step to be in that same, right? Otherwise, my third step was backwards and I was coming at a different angle. So it actually kind of, there's after doing something for so many years, that was kind of one of the reasons why I was like, hey, I talked to Foxy and was like, you guys got to help me get somewhere where I can put my hand back on the ground.
Dang. So did you stay on the same side always in Minnesota?
Yeah, I've played the right sides from day one. I mean, I could do whatever I want, but I've always believed that the best tackle was on the left, best defensive end supposed to be on the right. Let's go to work and see who's better that day.
So you wanted to go after their big money tackle.
Yeah, and like I said, with my first D-line coach, Bob Carmelo, it's old school as they come, and he's like, we're not, my second year I bounced back and forth a little bit, I could kind of do what I wanted, but he was like, you want to be the best? This is where the best plays. They're going to know where you're at. Learn to deal with the chip. Learn to deal with the best. I remember one year I had to play Orlando Pace, Walter Jones, Jonathan Ogden, Willie Anderson, and then go against Willie Rofe every day in practice, which was a nightmare. Let's see who else was on that list. think, flow, because I had to go down. We had to play flow down in, I had to play 6 all pros in 1 year.
All monsters.
Oh my God. And they're all weighing about 330 on the light scale. I'm like, goodness gracious. What's wrong with you guys?
Are you left hand or right hand down?
I play left hand down.
Always left hand. Yeah, that's why I figured.
Ball hand down, yeah.
That's a big difference where just explaining the steps, like you said, people think, oh, what do you mean? It's stand up, hand in the ground, stand up. It's all the same. But that's a huge deal because I remember watching Kevin Green, who's being inducted to the Hall of Fame this year, teach like speed to power, he would call it, and hit the steps. And they all day, every day, have those outside backers. That's what the first thing they would do was their first like 3 steps, like up the field, turn, boom, headbutt them right under the chin, and then work your moves from there. Yeah, because you got to be able to be same hand, same foot to derive any power. So if you're on your 3rd step and you're planning off your outside foot, and you're just it's not gonna work. And then for me, with long and knowing when I'm going to go inside, because I was predominantly an inside move guy, or that's what I was always trying to set up. And so, it's little things. So like now, even going to the right, I felt like a fish out of water. It's hard for me to flip my hips on that side. It's like it's crazy. You work so much on one side, your body doesn't transfer as well. So I always just stayed where my butt needed to be on the right side. Did you ask Chicago to trade you? Yeah, we went in and had a good conversation with me. But Coach Fox is awesome, and so is Ryan Pace. And so we went in after the Seattle game. I was like, listen, let's be honest. You guys, we got 7 outside linebackers in our room, and you guys want everybody to play. I'm the least outside linebackery of everybody. Let's figure out a way. But it just became, we both had a lot of respect for each other. Ryan Pace is a phenomenal GM. Foxy's the best. Fangio's defense is cool as hell. Like, I wish I would have been able to play in Fangio's defense as like a young player, because you understand why he's like top 10, every year. Just because the dude's a professor of just like, it's like just like a magician back there moving parts. But yeah, so when I was just, and then, go to Carolina, which is a secret gym in the NFL. That is a place you want to spend your entire career. Charlotte's awesome. Rivera's dope. Sean, McDermott, awesome. Like the whole staff, dude. Big Cat from Mr. Richardson, the owner, dude. He's the best. Just cruising around in his golf cart. That dude will cruise into a drill during practice and just stop the drill, call you over, and have a conversation with you about you. It's the best. Like, hey, Jared, come here. So, and you might talk about football. You might just BS, but you'll be literally in the middle of a drill. Just drive his cart. Wow. Do him and Rivera ever get into it because of that?
No. Big Cat runs the show.
God, that's cool, man. Yeah, I never had any experiences like that. Did you have any control over could you tell them these are a couple teams I would like to go to? Yeah, we said this is where we're going to search. I want to go for a winner, and obviously we were trying to piece that together. So yeah, I always had control over where I wanted to go. That's what I guess that's the kind of power you get when you have 22 sacks in a season.
That and a good agent.
Yeah. Who is your agent?
Ken Harris. My whole career. Yeah.
Okay.
So he did a lot of special teams guys, and so I had a punter and my punter in college was drafted before me, so that's how I got to know. But yeah, we always did. You see a lot of these contracts with all these hidden numbers and stuff. We were just clean, cut, and dry. Get as much money as we can, guaranteed, and no BS. It always worked out great.
And you go from Chicago to Carolina, and all of a sudden you're playing in the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl back home was pretty sweet, yeah.
Dang, man! What happened with I know you got hurt at the end of the regular season or playoffs. What was the process there?
I broke my foot in the playoffs.
I remember you. I just remember your comments. You were mad you weren't playing the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, because I finished the game with it, so I'm like, it's only gotten better. I went out and practiced Thursday and Friday and was fine, and coach had already made up his mind. And I was just, I come from the spot. I'm like, either I'm the starter or I'm not. Let me know. Yeah. It's a new NFL now. Everybody gets a turn type deal, which, cool part. So Carolina believes 100%, no matter who you are, whether you're Luke, anybody, next man up. Like all the football cliches, they believe it, and everybody buys into it. So for me, I've always come from a school of, for me to help the team, I got to be the best I can be, right? More of a selfish mentality. And it is so pro team there that you just fall into it. You just you can be pissed about it, but at the end of the day, you're like, whatever. So yeah, it was just different. So, but I mean, the day I get there, I was there that week. The day before my first game, Saturday, we're getting ready to get on the plane. During Saturday walkthrough, I re-ruptured my L5, so I couldn't feel my entire left leg for 3 weeks. Couldn't lift my heel off the ground. So I played the Tampa game there, my first game there. I'm so pissed. I got a rookie left tackle, thinking I'm just going to have a great week of practice. I literally can't feel my left leg. I look like what was Tiny Tim out there just dragging his leg. Just miserable, dude. So I held out. So yeah, you know what? The last 2 years, I mean, I ruptured my L5 in Chicago before the season. That's when it first happened. No one ever knew about it. So I ruptured my L5 like 6 weeks before camp. It was just down, and it just never. You can't work out the same anymore, you know. So did that, and then my foot. So once injuries started piling up, I was like,
"See ya."
Yeah.
Did you ever? Were you up front with the teams, and you tell them like when you ruptured your L5?
Oh yeah, I don't ever pull punches. So
I just mean play through it, like just all right, go do your own rehab at home and try just to gut it out.
Oh no, I mean I always gut it out, but I went in. I told them that day I was like, man, I can't feel my legs. So they worked on it all day. It was shooting pain on the plane. They worked on it all night. Then it just went numb and shut it down. But I always argue like I can still go if I'm, I feel like if I'm 60, 70%, let's rock and roll. So, but yeah, my foot, I was good. I still haven't got the surgery for my foot. So I just let it heal.
What about your back? Did you get surgery there?
Nah, I just let that one heal too.
Is it healed?
Only God knows.
Aren't you still riding horses and stuff?
Yeah, so I got a buddy out here I rope with a little bit, so I try to do that as much as possible. But yeah, I still try to, you know it is when you got young kids running around. You don't get as much time for the leisure activities you'd like, but you try to squeeze them as much as possible. And then we just moved, so just been dealing with that.
Well, I meant also for your back, though. I would imagine riding a horse. Well, you probably at some point.
No, so for the most part, like back surgeries, you really don't unless you're in a lot of pain. You don't have to. Because I try to keep, my dad bod at like a, moderate level. I've gotten so skinny fat since I retired too.
Explain that to us, because I use that term a lot.
Oh, I'm like down 10 pounds, but I'm fatter than I was. It was like, how do you lose 2 pounds and get fatter? I'm like, I lost muscle mass. I got, I'm wearing a size 36 jean now versus a 38, but it's still like baggy on my thighs. I'm like squatting.
People don't for some reason people don't understand if you call somebody skinny fat. Like a lot of golfers are skinny fat.
Oh,
like
yes.
Their arms are little twigs, and then they got a nice little gut.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's just softness. So skinny fat is just like soft, skinny people that are soft, like no muscle definition.
There's no muscle tone anywhere you look.
Yeah, I do just enough to make sure I don't get like gross man boobs, and to where my gut's not gonna be hanging out in my shirt. So, but I mean, to be real honest, I mean, the days of six packs are probably gone.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, hey, man, whatever just own it. That's the thing. Who cares, man?
When I heard about dad bod like 2 years ago, I was just like, I need to find this dude, whoever created this, and just thank him for this marketing genius, because I'm just rocking a dad bod. I'm sorry. I got an executive workout 2 or 3 times a week. I hit the weights maybe 1 day a week just to stay a little tight. Call it a day. I work out during the week, drink beer on the weekends. That's what dad bod's about.
Talk with the other dads about the weather and what's going on outside.
Yeah, watch the kids play football, run around, gymnastics, whatever. Cheers.
Don't you have a a nice little tattoo? You have a barbed wire? What is it on your arm?
Oh yeah, it's razor. It's a tribal. I'm so tribal.
How old were you? How old were you?
I was in college, unfortunately, and I got it for free. And I was like, yeah, tribal tattoos are dope. Let me tell you something, kids. They're not cool at all. And now every day I think of what I could do to cover it up. And I'm like, that's just drawing more attention to it. I'm a plethora of bad tattoos.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I was close, man. I don't know if you remember the name Andy Katzenmoyer, the linebacker at Ohio State.
I not know Andy Katzenmoyer.
Yeah, he's the man. Just jacked with double tribal, whatever they may be. And he was, I mean, if you grew up in Ohio, especially, he's your hero. And every day through high school, in middle school and high school, someday I'm going to get it. I never did.
What is with Ohio and linebackers?
Ohio has real good high school football in general.
Luke, Andy. I mean, like the list goes on and on and on for high school linebackers.
There is a ton, man. For some reason, it's like a football in general, like all over football guys. I don't know. There's like up in Cleveland area, Cincinnati's huge. Obviously, Luke's from there. Yeah, I don't know.
Did you guys play against each other in high school?
No, I'm way older than him, man.
Yeah, well, you came in with me, right?
I came in 06.
Okay, 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, are you back in Cincinnati this year?
No, I'm not back there. I'm a free agent at the moment, so okay. I don't know. That's what I'm trying in the middle of figuring out exactly. I don't know. It'd have to be the right situation for me to.
What your plan is? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of different media broadcast stuff. What do you want to do? What are you going to do to fill your time other than hang out with the other dad bods?
You're looking at it, dude. I got my foundation, so that's my main deal. Run my foundation. Obviously, we buck bulls in the PBR and in the CBR stuff like that. So. Doing that, and then we own a restaurant out here in Scottsdale, but that's about it. It's kind of my foundation is my main focus. So
Jared Allen Home for Wounded Warriors.
Homes for Wounded Warriors. Yeah, we build and remodel handicap homes, or we build and remodel homes and make them handicap accessible for our wounded vets coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan. So we've been doing that since 2009. We got 8 homes going on right now. So
jeez, man.
Yeah, so it's a busy year for us. So
that's awesome. Good for you. My brother-in-law does actually a similar thing. Like basically, they don't build new, but they like retrofit houses when guys come back wounded.
Yeah. There's quite a few organizations that do it. We're a little different from the standpoint we don't like ours are specific. Ours are pretty custom. Like maybe not the outside house. If we do a ground up build, it's custom, but it's specific for their needs. So based on what their injuries are, what their needs are, where we go, and we have a bunch of different sponsors we can do. We don't just so a lot of ADA stuff is just wide doorways, lower countertops. But we try to really make it a home for them, and then we give it to them free and clear at the end of it. So,
jeez, good for you, man. That's awesome.
It's been a pretty fun deal.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right.
So now that I know you got free time, you're going to be at the next golf tournament, right?
When is it? When do you do it?
I was in May, and I totally spaced. And Amy was, did you invite AJ? And I'm like, I totally forgot to shoot him an email.
Yeah.
And but yeah, we have.
I would love to come.
Every May, it's so the golf tournament. We play half the holes during the day, half the holes at night. Go on our website. The video should be up.
Say your website. We'll put a link up too.
It's homesforwoundedwarriors.com.
Okay.
And but we play half the holes during the day, half the holes at night. Glow in the dark balls, and then at the end we always have like. This year, Halfway to Hazard, my country music buddies played, and then we have a 300-foot slip and slide. Right. So if you win the golf tournament, I don't even think we gave out trophies this year. We didn't even announce the winner. And but the slip and slide do got a $5,000 Home Depot gift card. We've given away Alaskan cruises. We're trying to get like a sports utility vehicle for this next year. So it's legit. We had a dude go, straight in the buff out of nowhere, sliding down the
300 feet.
Slip and slide. It's roughly 300 feet. So,
it's so great, man. I have to come to that. See, I was going to ask you about that slip and slide because, man, probably I don't know how many years ago, my buddy who I played with at Ohio State, Doug Daddish, sent me a clip of you on it. He goes, check this out, man. This was before I think I'd even ever really met you. He's like, check out Jared Allen. He is the man. And it was you running shirtless, jumping down your slip and slide, obviously at that event.
Yeah, it was our event. So this is my other one.
Oh, hey.
No, we're doing an interview.
You're good.
So
you're good. I'm wrapping up. I'm finishing up for you.
Not a problem. But yeah, the event is pretty awesome.
That's good, man. I like it. Having a good time. I think that's the biggest compliment you can get as an athlete, and that you seem to, if anyone knows you or is asked about you, is like, yeah, he seems really normal.
I try to be because I really don't think I'm that cool. So I feel like the way I look at it, honestly, like I'm a Christian. So at the end of the day, we don't get to take any of this with us, and I got to answer to my Maker the same way everybody else does. So I try to have fun, live life to its fullest, and install, especially in today's day, install good morals in my kids, and try to make them so I can, at least my kids and myself and my family, can be a productive part of society somewhat. I'm awesome. Really lucky. I'm just all my eggs fell into this basket. And so the Lord blessed me with being able to run into people really well. So I'm like, I figure I'm not, there's nothing like I really did, so I can't be too cool.
Hey, we did it great, man. That's a great way to end it. So, Jared, we'll put your links to your foundation, your site, and everything. But good luck with everything, and appreciate it. Can't wait to see you in Tahoe, man.
Absolutely, brother. See you there.
All right, man. I'll see you.
Yeah.
We're glad you could join us for today's conversation. After you subscribe to the show, head over to thehawkcast.com or reach out to AJ directly on Twitter at @officialAJHawk to recommend future guests that will help us inspire people to keep talking. Thanks again, and we look forward to speaking with you next time on the HawkCast.